Hello, my name is Abdullah Fawzi. I'm a senior privacy lead at Vodafone Egypt with around 4 years of experience in implementing GDPR controls across the company. Today we'll be talking a little bit about the complex relationship between AI and data privacy and the fact that AI can be either helpful or harmful for a company trying to abide by privacy laws and regulations. So in essence, AI is just like a weapon. You can either put this weapon for good use or bad use. Given that the technology is relatively new and complex and not many people understand how it works, most people are skeptical on how companies using AI are respecting their privacy rights. In the next section, I'll give a couple of examples where AI can be actually the problem and it can be detrimental for a company trying to respect privacy rights, and also give more examples on how AI can either respect privacy rights of individuals or help enhance the implementation of privacy controls across the company. And I will conclude with a bit of a balance between how to make the most of AI while respecting the rights and freedoms of individuals. When it comes to risks, using AI by design can put you in breach of core privacy principles. If we take data minimization, for example, data minimization asks a controller to use the least amount of data to reach a destination and have good lawful basis for such processing. AI, on the other hand, to learn and flourish and make good decisions, needs large sets of data, which is in conflict of the data minimization principle. So, for example, if a company needs to implement a surveillance system, it can have one of two solutions. One is a traditional solution where it implements normal cameras and have the feeds of people entering or exiting their facility and keeping this data for a set amount of time. So this is a traditional approach. The other approach, which is an AI-based camera, can read and learn lots and lots of data points of the users entering the building or exiting the building. So, for example, a company may have a 3D image of a person or know the biometrics of the face, leading that the company is processing sensitive personal data. So this is one example. Another core privacy principle is transparency, where users have the right to understand how exactly a company is using their data, for what purposes and for how long. Problem with AI is that it's so complex to the extent that some of the operators of AI or the companies implementing AI models don't deeply understand how AI works, and for this reason it can be challenging to tell the customer or the employee how a company is actually using their data or what are the exact purposes for doing this. Third example is when AI is actually implemented or designed to serve fraudulent purposes. One famous example is FraudGPT, which helps attackers plan their attack on companies. So for example, if you want to design a well-crafted spam email, FraudGPT can actually help you in doing this, where the spam email will look just like a legitimate email and will pass the traditional security controls. So these are some of the many examples that AI can be actually detrimental for a company, and it shows why privacy controls should be embedded well in the design and implementation of AI models. On the other hand, AI can actually help you in implementing and even enhancing your privacy controls. One traditional example here relates to data anonymization, which has been causing headache for many companies over the years. Data anonymization is the process of stripping sensitive personal data from a data set so you can no longer identify data subject. So names, addresses, mobile numbers, locations, etc. You need to remove such data to achieve anonymization. This has been challenging over the years for many reasons. One, sometimes it's hard to even identify personal data in your data set. So it may be easier to identify a mobile number that comes in a standard form, but it's harder to identify, let's say, the names and the addresses and so on. And also, some data comes in non-standard formats. So, for example, if you have a picture of a person, this under the GDPR law is like considered as personal data, but the traditional models cannot spot such data. Another challenge is doing all of this scanning of personal data to strip it in a large data set. This would need large amount of resources and time that companies most likely wouldn't be able to afford. Best thing about AI is actually it can learn to identify several sets of personal data, and it can help in automating the identification and even the removal of sensitive personal data from within a data set. So this is the first example where AI can be actually very helpful in achieving better privacy controls. The second idea is, it's a relatively new idea called model explainability, where you add a little bit of logic to the results of your AI model. So let's take the example, if you are using the AI model in the loans applications and a user comes to you and asks you why he or she is rejected from getting a certain loan, for example. Model explainability gives you an idea on how it reached a certain decision and gives you like a decision tree map where you can understand exactly what data it used and the algorithms it used to achieve such a result. And this helps a lot with the idea of data transparency that we talked about earlier on, that users can actually have a better idea on how a company is using their data and reaching certain decisions. So to conclude, AI can be very beneficial when it comes to abiding by and complying with privacy laws and regulations, and it all depends on how you use your AI model. We talked a little bit about some of the core privacy principles such as data minimization and transparency, and how AI can help a company achieve compliance with such principles. Two recommendations here. One is privacy should never be an afterthought when it comes to deploying AI models. Privacy should be embedded throughout the life cycles from day one. And two, companies need to find the perfect balance between data utility, in essence getting the most out of the AI models and achieving good business value, while at the same time respecting the rights and freedoms of the data subjects. That was all for today, and thanks for having me. Goodbye.